Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about a situation that has captured the world's attention. Rumors, reports, and rising tension are pointing towards something serious unfolding inside Belarus. Many analysts are calling it a possible coup alert, as parts of the Belarusian military appear to be making moves that the leadership did not expect. The world is watching closely because any shift inside the Belarusian army could reshape the political future of the entire region. For years, Belarus has been known for its strict control and centralized power, but now signs of internal pressure are becoming impossible to ignore. Officers are questioning orders, units are being repositioned under unclear circumstances, and whispers inside the military hierarchy have begun spreading more openly. What was once dismissed as speculation now looks like the early stages of a potential power struggle. The government is responding with urgency, but the intensity of the moment suggests that something deeper is happening behind the scenes. One of the biggest triggers for this situation is the growing dissatisfaction inside the army. Soldiers are dealing with long deployments, harsh living conditions, outdated equipment, and increasing political pressure. Many officers believe that the government has placed the military in a difficult position by involving them in issues they were not prepared for. The military was meant to protect national borders, not to be entangled in political battles. This confusion about their role is fueling frustration from the lower ranks all the way up to senior officers. Another major factor is the shifting relationship between Belarus and Russia. The Belarusian government has pushed closer to Moscow, but not everyone in the military agrees with this direction. Some officers fear that Belarus is losing its independence, and that military decisions are being influenced by external interests instead of national priorities. These officers feel that their loyalty is being tested in ways that compromise the sovereignty of the country. When a military begins to feel that its nation is no longer in control of its own future, internal resistance becomes more likely. In recent weeks, the movement of troops inside Belarus has raised many questions. Several units were quietly relocated without the usual explanation. Equipment was moved in the middle of the night. Communications within certain bases were restricted. These actions have fueled speculation that something significant is unfolding inside the military structure. While the government claims these are routine drills, the timing and secrecy make analysts doubtful. The world is watching every detail because sudden, unexplained troop movements often signal the beginning of deeper internal conflicts. What makes this moment even more intense is the growing divide between older and younger soldiers. The younger generation is more connected to global information and less willing to accept government narratives without questioning them. Many of them see the political system in Belarus as outdated and believe that major changes are necessary. On the other hand, the older officers who spent decades building their careers under the current leadership are torn between loyalty and responsibility. They understand the risks of instability, but also see the growing anger among the troops who serve under them. International observers are closely monitoring the situation. Neighboring countries worry that instability in Belarus could spill across borders or escalate into a larger regional conflict. Western governments are seeking information through diplomatic channels, while Russia is keeping a particularly close eye on developments. Any shift in Belarus's military could weaken Moscow's influence in the region or create an opportunity to tighten control. This geopolitical pressure adds another layer of complexity to an already fragile moment. Inside Belarus, trust between the government and its military has been eroding for a long time. The leadership demands complete loyalty, but loyalty becomes difficult when soldiers feel unheard, unsupported, and overburdened. Promises of improved conditions, better housing, and increased pay have not been fulfilled. Morale continues to drop. When soldiers lose faith in their leaders, they begin looking to their commanders for direction instead of the political leadership. This creates the environment where a coup becomes possible, even if not openly planned. Reports have surfaced that several generals have expressed disagreement with recent government decisions. These conversations were initially quiet, private, and limited to small groups, but now the discussions are spreading. When senior officers question the direction of the country, lower-ranking soldiers pay attention. The growing number of officers who believe that the leadership is making dangerous decisions indicates a deeper level of unrest within the military structure. Economic struggles also play a significant role in the rising tension. Inflation, shortages, and delayed salaries are impacting families across the country, including those of military personnel. When personal lives are affected by national instability, soldiers begin to question why they are being asked to sacrifice so much when they receive so little in return. Families encourage soldiers to look out for their own future instead of blindly following orders, and this kind of personal pressure can accelerate internal conflict. One of the most alarming developments is the restriction of communication inside military bases. Some bases have limited phone access, internet availability, and contact with outside communities. These measures suggest that the leadership fears internal information spreading too quickly, but restricting communication often has the opposite effect. It increases suspicion, frustration, and distrust. Soldiers begin to assume the worst when they are kept in the dark. Along with that, sudden replacements of commanding officers have raised eyebrows. Several commanders have reportedly been rotated out or reassigned unexpectedly. These changes usually happen only during major reorganizations or in preparation for something significant. The fact that multiple high-ranking officers are being moved at once signals that the leadership may be trying to prevent alliances from forming within the army, another clear sign that they feel internal unity among dissatisfied officers. The world is especially concerned because Belarus sits in a strategically sensitive location. Any instability within its military could quickly influence regional security. A coup attempt or even a strong disagreement within military leadership could disrupt economic routes, border security, and international alliances. This is why global media outlets and political analysts are covering the situation so intensely. They understand that what happens in Belarus does not stay in Belarus. Meanwhile, inside the country, civilians are becoming increasingly aware of the tension. Although state media avoids discussing internal military issues, people notice unusual troop movements, increased checkpoints, and a rise in surveillance. Families with military members share concerns quietly. Communities near bases report seeing more activity at night. These small observations contribute to a growing sense of uncertainty among the public. The possibility of a coup is not something any country takes lightly. Military coups rarely happen suddenly. They usually build over time through distrust, dissatisfaction, and power struggles. Belarus appears to be entering that dangerous stage where internal pressure reaches a point where any unexpected event could trigger a major shift. It might not happen immediately, but the signs suggest that the situation is heading toward a breaking point if changes are not made soon. The government is aware of the risk. They have increased internal monitoring, tightened control over key institutions, and intensified political messaging. They want to show strength, but the more they try to project power, the more evident it becomes that they are afraid of losing control. Power that must be constantly demonstrated is power that is already weakening. At the same time, the military is also divided on what leadership should come next if major changes occur. Some officers believe in gradual reforms. Others want a complete restructuring of the political system. A smaller group believes the military should take temporary control to stabilize the country. These conflicting visions make the situation even more unpredictable. A divided military often leads to chaotic outcomes if unrest escalates. Foreign powers are preparing for all possible scenarios. Some countries may support a transition toward a new political direction. Others may intervene diplomatically or attempt to influence the outcome. Russia may feel compelled to step in if it believes its interests are threatened. This external pressure puts Belarus in an even more complicated position. A coup or major shift would not only affect the country internally, but also disrupt the balance of power in Eastern Europe. Despite all this tension, many soldiers still hope for a peaceful resolution. They want a stable and respected military, not one involved in political games or power struggles. They want their families to feel secure and their future to be clear, but achieving that will require trust, something that is rapidly disappearing inside the military hierarchy. If the leadership continues to ignore the growing discontent, the situation could escalate further. Soldiers who feel cornered or unheard may turn toward their commanders for direction instead of the government. Officers who feel betrayed by political decisions may begin coordinating privately. These are the patterns that often lead to significant upheavals in countries where the military holds major influence. As the world watches Belarus, one thing is becoming clear: the country is entering a critical phase. Military movements are becoming suspicious, officers are becoming restless, and political leaders are becoming defensive. These are the early signs of a potential confrontation between the government and its own armed forces. Whether this confrontation becomes a coup and negotiation or a restructuring remains to be seen. Belarus now stands at a crossroads. The decisions made in the coming days will determine whether the situation escalates or stabilizes. Military tension is not a small issue. It is a sign that the very backbone of the state is under strain. If leadership fails to respond wisely, the pressure already building within the system may finally break through, changing the future of Belarus in ways no one can fully predict.